Good evening, folks. What's going on? So, I have a whole new topic that I want to talk to you guys about reading and literature. And not just any type of literature. I guess fiction and blog posts and articles that have some substance to them. So, my sister, she tweets political foreign relations type of stuff, and she's really good at it. She has a couple thousand followers, and she has some really good people following her. So I came across two of her tweets, and they were articles that I just thought would be interesting to read. I haven't read them yet. One is called How the Africans Became Black, and it talks about how Africans now make up 3% of our foreign Africans make up 3% of the U.S. foreign-born population. And then the other article is from Mother Jones, and it's called Our Sassy Black Friend Jamaica Kincaid. Jamaica Kincaid is a well-known, well-respected author. And also, going back to How the Africans Became Black is from the Atlantic website. So those are two articles I'm probably going to read in the next day, just to not, you know how back in the day you may have read urban novels. Like I read Fly Girls, and I read The Coldest Night Ever, Sister Soldier, but that was years and years ago, and I haven't been reading urban trashy novels like that in forever. Now on to books. Last week I read a book called If Sons Then Heirs by Lorene Cary. So this is the book. I got it out of my library, and Lorene Cary is a local author from Philly. She is a lecturer and a professor at University of Penn. She started a huge nonprofit, and the book, I really enjoyed the book. I really did. It took me a while to read because I would only read it on the train going to and from work, and then I had to drive a couple days, so that cut down on reading time, but I really enjoyed it. It's something different. It's interesting. It makes me think, like, I know that I have land down south, that I had land. My family had land, but one of my aunts sold it. So if she wouldn't have sold the land, what would my family's legacy be? Like, what could we have down there on the land if all of the heirs got together and stuck together? It's interesting, because blacks, of course, used to own land. The book that I'm reading now is called The Taste of Salt by Martha Southgate. So far so good. I'm enjoying it so far. I'll tell you more about it if I finish. But I'm just trying to figure out if you guys want to share some blog posts and articles, and if you've read any interesting books. Like the two books I pointed out, they're not based on anything real per se. Like it probably has happened to people's families, but it's not a biography or a documentation or anything. So usually for Lent I do something like giving up something like dessert, or I juice for a couple days. But I think this year I'm going to make a conscious effort to do better with my reading. I'm strong in fitness and I'm strong in health, and you can ask me to read any Huffington Post health article or New York Times fitness article, but when it comes to international relations and foreign policy, that's where I struggle. I believe I had the fiscal cliff pretty much down, and now I have to boost myself back up on what's happening with the budget and everything with the economy, because you ask me what's happening in Philly with the murder rates and with the schools closing and like the gentrification of North Philly, I can tell you all about that. But when it comes to what's happening with the drones and what's happening in the Middle East and what's happening in Libya, I'm not really comfortable. So this lynch, I'm going to make myself aware of what's happening outside of Philadelphia and really outside of the US, because I can tell you what's happening in Chicago, and I can tell you what's happening in other states. So what's happening across the seas, because what happens across the seas affects what happens in the US, and you really need to be educated in these manners and in these topics. So that's something that I'm really going to work on. So if you come across any articles, and the articles are definitely need to be non-biased, as non-biased as possible, because writers and journalists, they really do have an opinion on things. So that's all. That's what I'm reading. If you come across anything or you want to discuss anything, let me know. It's something I'm definitely going to work on. So yeah, folks, that's about all I wanted to say. Bye. Have a good day. Live from the 215. Bye, y'all.